Why Finland schools outperform most of the other schools across the developed world. I mean, Finland, top of the top.
They're top of the top for a lot of things, it seems like. And this video we're specifically going to be focusing on schools, and we're going to be kind of having it in comparison to U.S. schools, because American
That's
education.
the only schools we know.
Yeah, and American education is commonly clowned on. So let's see if we can stack up to the Finns.
I mean, yeah, we went to school, so we know what American school is like, right?
Yeah, we know what like 2 schools are like.
Yeah.
In one state.
Yeah. The state we went to is one of the better school states for education in the U.S., so maybe it's not as bad as some others, but who knows? Let's see. It looks cold.
It's 8 a.m. on a cold morning in the suburbs of Helsinki.
Oh my gosh, I
And
was
these
right. It is
primary
cold.
school children are getting ready for class.
I don't know how you figured out it was cold.
This morning's lesson,
don't know.
ancient history.
Smart like that,
Well,
I guess.
they are reading with pairs some text about Egyptian ancient life. They are reading, and then I'm gonna ask something. What did they find out from the book?
Well, they're all very
I
engaged.
think we all are ready now.
Yeah,
This
I've
is
never
a
seen
school
that in
system
American school
that
ever.
for years has been among the world's best.
And then what about this gold one? Yeah, Minttu, please.
Ja miehetkin niin molemmat on käyttänyt meikkiä.
And yet these kids will spend half as much time in a classroom as Australian children.
When you go
Half?
to the first grade, when you are 7 years old, the amount of hours is 20 hours a week. It's the minimum.
Oh.
And then it gets more hours the older you get, but it's still less than in many countries
20
in
hours
Europe
a week?
or in the
Wow.
world.
In Finland, it's individual teachers who decide how the curriculum is taught, including how much technology should feature in their classrooms.
Me tehdään sellaista pyramidiprojektia, missä nyt me kirjoitetaan hieroglyfeillä meidän nimet paperille ja sitten me tehdään classroomista tehtäviä.
Interesting, wow.
11-year-old Mintu Latumaki asks to leave class to work at the school's own student-run cafe.
You can go. Yeah, that's okay. Shut your books.
Wow, like little kids like that run the cafes and stuff?
It's very interesting. And so it seems like not only they're learning, obviously, brain knowledge, but they're learning like real world knowledge. Like she learned like the respectful way to go ask, and then she could go over there, and then now they get to, like, it seems like some people have some jobs to do. They're learning some responsibility.
So much more hands-on instead of the teacher just going up front and just telling you what you need to remember for the test, basically. That's America. Look at that. That's some business learning.
One cake for the cameraman, 1 cake for me, and 2 coffees. How much is it?
€2
And she can speak English already.
How much change?
€2
And look at that.
Ketos.
That's some math.
Perfect. Is there a tip jar? Do you have tips?
No.
No tips. Okay.
Wow,
She's
no
learning
tips
that.
either.
I mean, look at that. That's
School
math,
lunches, like books
English,
and excursions.
and like problem-solving skills,
Yeah.
social skills, all in one little thing.
The one English guy that's there in their school for some reason.
Yeah.
Free. The kids select what they
Lunch
want,
to the
Taters.
lunch is
sit down
free.
with their friends and teachers
That's
to
nice.
eat before they clean up after themselves.
In Minnesota, where we're from, they
The
have
children
sort of
rug
like,
up again to play outside.
like low income. I don't know if it's free. It's definitely discounted for.
They
lower
actually
income
have
people.
free. They have free now
Oh, okay.
for everybody. That's one of the things that have passed in the last few years in this state specifically. It's definitely not in many other places, but
No,
in our
that's
state, it's
communism.
free. Yeah. So we're from communist Minnesota over here.
Some play a
Hopefully some
raucous
Finns can
version of
understand
soccer.
our sarcasm.
Some play basketball,
Hopefully.
while others wait for the hockey
Oh,
rink to
man.
open.
I thought that was gonna be a kid riding that
Plenty
Zamboni.
of options for bad weather days too.
The facilities in this school are just amazing. Outside, we saw an ice skating rink, and in here, where the kids
Man, look
can
at that.
play
It's like a
lunchtime,
college.
There's a ping pong
High
table,
quality school.
a pool table, and in here, for the cold winter days, they've got a room full of beanbags and couches.
I would
And there's
love
even
to
a
have that when I was in
PlayStation in the
elementary
corner.
school. What the heck? The
It seems like
PlayStation?
Some
it's such a
2K?
rich school, you must get more money than other schools.
Are they allowed to
No,
play
we don't.
Call of Duty?
It saves money for everyone, actually. They
Save
take
money?
and borrow books.
In Finland, schools are not allowed to raise private funds or to charge fees from parents. All schools are equitably
Can't
funded
charge fees?
from taxation.
And in our system, everything is free for the students, actually. We don't collect any money from the parents.
Even
We
for sports?
want our schools to be equal and have the equal opportunities to arrange.
In America, there's fees for everything. If you go on a field trip, fee. You play a sport, fee. You have to get like an extra book, fee. You gotta eat food, fee. Not in Minnesota anymore, but it's crazy.
And not to mention, they're talking about the equality, and of course. And in the U.S., it's kind of similar, where it's like taxation pays for the school, but the U.S. has gerrymandering. So specifically, they like carved out low-income houses for that school district. So then that school district gets less money, and then it's not equal at all, even if like there's a rich school literally right down there.
So a lot of the time it comes to low income, and a lot of time it is by race, which where those lines are drawn. So it's
Yes.
very unfortunate. And Finland, that is not a problem.
the education. So therefore also the finance system need to be equal and treat equally all the schools.
Ja sitten tuossa tulee 16.
Mintu Latumaki's older brother Levi is in year 7, and this afternoon he's got maths.
We have
Maths.
like the
Studying
last
maths.
chapter before we have the next exam.
There are regular exams in Finland, but the results of these tests are not published and shared.
We have national tests, but the big difference is we don't compare schools that this is not good school, this is bad school. We just use the information that we evaluate ourselves.
But perhaps the single biggest difference in Finnish education is the standard of teaching. Levi's maths teacher, Una Arnes, speaks 5 languages and has postgraduate qualifications.
So every one of us, we have to have a master's degree to be teachers.
They get
so
paid well,
like,
right?
for example, me, I'm math
Definitely.
and chemistry and physics teacher.
In Finland, a career as a teacher is highly sought after.
To enter the studies in university, actually, it's really hard. They take something like 10% to study teaching. If you really want to be a teacher, it can't be your second or third or I don't know what kind of option. It has to be your first.
I believe that they know what is the best for our children. I'm not a teacher. I don't have that education.
That's not a thing in the U.S. either. In the U.S., now that it's getting so political here, people will be like, how dare these teachers teach these things to my kid? I should be teaching my kid about all this stuff because the curriculum doesn't fit their worldview now, because everything's so political and everything is political no matter what sphere you're in. So all these people get angry at what the teachers teach their kids in the U.S. It's pretty interesting.
The selection of teachers makes so much more sense too, because this is like the future of your country, the future of your child. You want them to be in good hands and you want them to get a great education. So it makes sense that the teacher should be highly qualified. They should work hard for that and of course get paid well. In the U.S.,
That doesn't happen here, no.
Teaching is kind of like you sacrifice your like income to just like be a teacher.
For the better good.
Yeah.
For like, for society. You're basically, it's like charity almost. You're like, I want to do something good, so I'm going to become a teacher. It's like being a social worker. You're doing something good in the U.S. and social working jobs just don't pay good at all. Like people say, when people say, oh, I got my degree in social work, and they're like, you wasted your money on getting a social worker's degree? That's like just how it is.
And because the U.S. is all about dang money, money, money. And I mean, like, even teachers are sometimes like, it might be like a last resort job for you. It's like, oh, if I can't get this, I'll just be a teacher or something.
Yeah. So that's the quality that we have here.
Yeah, and of
last
course,
resort.
Even though everyone knows it in the U.S., teachers are paid very, very poorly. Like,
especially in the South.
Yeah, yeah, and they only get paid, and they only work for 9 months, obviously, in the U.S.
In the South, they'll get paid like poverty wages almost. Like sometimes it's literally below the poverty line what they get paid, which is absolutely insane. And then they go on strike and stuff like that occasionally. But strikes don't work that well in the U.S. these days. Yeah, it's an interesting place. It's very, very different. I mean, there's a reason why it's outperforming the U.S. in every metric, I'm sure, because how much more time and quality they put into their programs and just school in general. Gosh, I wish.
So we don't interfere.
Just because I want a PlayStation in my school.
Yeah,
in Finland, there's little anxiety about finding the right school for your child.
We trust that they have very good school, so we don't need to do any research work or...
I think that is not a question in Finland.
Interesting, they just trust the school.
Finland is a vastly different country with a tiny, homogenous society. But its education success must surely offer some lessons for Australia.
I would like to say that...
Slash breakfast, just pastries? I'd eat that.
And some, what about was that soda water they were serving there? Or like...
It might be. It might be some soda water and maybe some sort of like, some sort of berry juice here?
Yeah, take the berry juice, not the soda.
I'd like to say that try to build the system that you trust the people.
And its investment in teachers seems an obvious place to begin.
Investment in the future.
The society respects the teachers. It means also the parents respect the teachers and they don't question the teachers. And that's in Finland a really huge thing.
All right, learning a lot. Obviously, we didn't have the biggest view on teachers in the U.S., but this gives a completely different perspective.
It's cool to see that some places in the world, especially outside of the U.S., where a lot of Americans just assume, well, schools in America gotta be the best, don't they? Come on, we're the richest
we have
country.
The highest GDP, so obviously
Let's
we produce
go.
the smartest people. Jeff Bezos went to school in the U.S. and he is amazing.
I think a lot of Americans would be shocked by this. That I mean, basically what it comes down to is Finnish schools are better. Finnish students are smarter after they finish school, and they are set up for a more successful life than American students are.
It's a good pun you did there. They're Finnish.
Finnish smarter?
They're Finnish smarter. Yeah, I mean, the quality, the dang quality. Quality over quantity.
It's almost like government funded things, if they continue to be funded and are funded as well as they should be, can be successful.
But that's communism.
That's just kind of a thing in the US. If schools do end up getting funded really well by a certain administration, the next administration, a Republican administration, will come in and be like, why are we spending this much money on schools, guys? Let's cut it back. Let's get rid of the Department of Education completely.
Yeah, so lots of things going on there. I mean, we can get deeper and deeper into the U.S. side of things, but we don't want to exasperate you guys any longer because there's some crazy stuff that goes on.
You would not believe. I mean, you should be watching this video. Why U.S. schools underperform most other countries in the developed world. Where's that video?
Yeah, we can make that video.
We don't know much about how the schooling system works, I'm sure. We just know.
They can just say what we think.
We had to pay for stuff. Yeah. Thanks for watching, everybody. Hopefully you enjoyed. We will see you in the next one. Bye.